Hello students, welcome to my class. Today we are going to discuss few questions related to JEE Advanced. Clear friend? So let's start with the topic, that is question answer round. Now look at the first question. The questions looks heavy, but definitely we will solve it in very small interval of time. Look at the question what I am telling. When one pentyne is treated with 4 normal alcoholic KOH at 175 degrees Celsius, it is converted slowly into an equilibrium mixture of 1.3% 1 pentyne A, that is A, 95.2% 2 pentyne B, okay, and 3.5% of 1,2 pentadiene. Clear? The equilibrium was maintained at 175 degrees Celsius. Clear? No issue. Calculate the delta G for the following equilibrium, that is delta G1 and delta Z2 for B2A and for B2C. Clear? Okay. Here B is 95.2% 2 pentyne, okay, and A is 1.3%. So we are going to solve the question. What to find, friend? Tell me. Here delta Z dash 1, that is we have to find, and clear these two explanation. Now I am moving here. Look at carefully. As we know, if there is a conversion from B to A, clear, and B is 95.2% according to the question, and A is 1.3%, clear to you? As we know, for the equation, value of K is equal to, we people know K is equal to product upon concentration of product upon concentration of reactant. Here concentration in terms of percentage, no issue. For A, that is 1.3, for B, that is 95.2. Clear? Now this will move here and this will move here, it will cancel each other. So first case, that is K1 is equal to 13 upon 952. Clear? Now for the second case, what is the second case? That is from B we move towards C. Clear to you? In this case, that is the B is 95.2% and C is 3.5% according to the question. Clear to you? As we know, K, equilibrium constant, equal to concentration of product upon concentration of reactant. So very simple, K2 is equal to 3.5 divided by 95.2. Clear? Now what will happen in this case, friend? That is K2 is equal to 35 upon 952. This is K1 and K2. Now moving here. Now where to move, tell me? We have to find delta Z. As we all know, delta Z is equal to minus 2.303 RT log K. Do you remember this? Now delta Z1 is equal to minus 2.303 RT log K1. Am I right? Now put this value, minus 2.303, value of R is equal to 8.314 and temperature is 175. 273 plus 175, that is 448 Kelvin. Clear? This is the value of temperature if 175 is given. Now put this value, that is 448 log, what is the value of K1 according to the question? 13 upon 952. Is it visible to you? 13 upon 952. Now after solving, what will happen? We will get the answer around 16 kilojoule. Clear to you? 16 kilojoule. When we take a joule, that is joule divided by 1000. That is conversion of R. R is equal to 8.314 joule per Kelvin per mole. How to convert joule into Kelvin, joule into kilojoule divided by 1000. So the answer of delta G1 is around 16 kilojoule. Clear? Per mole. Now, if anyone asks you what is the value of delta G2, we people know delta G2 is equal to minus 2.303 RT log K2. Now put the value 2.303 into 8.314 divided by 1000 multiply 448 log. What is the value of K2? K2 is 35 upon 952. Now after solving we get the answer around 12.3 kilojoule. Clear to you? This is the option. So it's very simple. If there is question, then question looks, I'm moving here, question looks lengthy, but it is solution is not so lengthy. Just follow the basic trick, you can easily solve such kind of questions. Clear to you? What to do? First of all, find the value of K1 and here is K2 and there is a relation of K1 and K1 with delta G, K2 with delta G. So in this question the answer is 16 kilojoule and 12.3 kilojoule. Clear, friend? Now I am going to rub this part and we'll move the next one. Wait for a moment, give me few seconds. Now let's move to question number 2. Question, read the question carefully, I am giving you few seconds. Estimate the average SF bond energy in SF6. Okay, the value of standard enthalpy of formation of SF6. Okay, and S and F are minus 1100, 275 and 80 kilojoule per mole. What to find? Average bond energy. Clear to you? First of all, what happened in this case? Look at what I am telling. That is SF6. Clear to you? Dissociation take place. That is, it gives S plus 6F. Clear, friend? This is the simple explanation. Now, what will happen? Look at, for this reaction, delta H is equal to summation of heat of formation of product minus summation of heat of formation of reactant. Clear? Now what is product? Sulfur and fluorine. Now put the value. What is the value of sulfur in this case? Is 275. Clear to you? Plus 6 into 80. Clear? Now minus, what is the value of reactant? That is minus 1100. Okay, friend. Now delta H is equal to 275 plus 480 plus 1100. Clear to you? 275 plus 480 plus 1100. Now calculate the overall value. The overall value will be equal to 275 plus 480 and 1100, that is 515. Clear to you? 81. Clear? I think calculation is correct. 1855. 1855. Clear? This is kilojoule per mole. Clear? Now question, estimate the average SF bond energy. Now listen carefully. As we know, in SF6 there is 6 SF bond like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. Now each bond will break. So the average SF bond energy will be, is it visible to you? Check it out. Average bond energy, it will be equal to 6 bond 1855 divided by 6. So in this case, what will be the answer? Answer will be around 309 6.16 kilojoule per mole. Clear, friend? Now I'm going to rub this part and we'll discuss the next one. Wait for a moment. Give me a few seconds. Now, let's move to the question number 3. The standard molar enthalpies of formation of cyclohexane and benzene. Okay, for cyclohexane, the standard enthalpy is given is, this is cyclohexane, is given minus 156 kilojoule per mole. Okay, now for benzene, this is benzene, friend. Look at carefully what I am telling. This is benzene, that is plus 49 kilojoule per mole. Okay, the standard enthalpy of hydrogenation of cyclohexane, hydrogenation 119. Using this data, estimate the magnitude of resonance energy of benzene. Okay, what is the formula? First of all, tell me what is the formula of resonance energy of benzene. We people know resonance energy is equal to, that is the delta H experimental value, clear to you, minus delta H theoretical value, clear to you, delta H experimental and delta H theoretical value. As per the question, the experimental value is given is all okay, 49, but here we have to find the delta H theoretical value for benzene. If you get this value, then after subtracting these two, we get the formula of resonance energy. Now, how to find the theoretical value of delta H? Clear? So, let's move. We'll try. Now, what is given in the question? This is one of the best question in this segment. Look at, it is given the enthalpy, the standard enthalpy of hydrogenation of cyclohexene. This is cyclohexene. Hydrogenation gives you, tell me, that gives you cyclohexane. Clear? And in this case, it is given, that is delta H is equal to, what is the value? Minus 119 kilojoule per mole, according to the question. There is a conversion of one double bond into single bond. Clear? Now, if I take here benzene, as we know that this is the theoretical value, this is benzene, here there is 3 bond. So, 3 double bond will be converted to single bond and will form cyclohexane. For 1, the delta H is minus 119 kilojoule per mole, and for 3, then what will happen? Delta H for this reaction is equal to minus 119 multiplied by 3. Am I right? Yes, sir, you are right. Now, what will happen? What is the value? That is 357 kilojoule per mole. Clear? Now, I am rubbing this part. Look at what I am telling. This is the value of delta H for this reaction, and for, as we know, delta H is equal to summation of heat of formation of product. Here product is cyclohexane. Put the value of, write down here, cyclohexane, minus summation of heat of formation of reactant. Now look at here. In this case, there is 2 reactant, but it is standard condition. So, heat of formation is taken as 0. So, what will happen? Delta H formation of, directly we can write like this, formation of cyclohexane and the delta H formation of benzene. Clear? Now, put this value, delta H is equal to minus 357 is equal to, what is the value of cyclohexane formation? That is minus 156 minus delta H formation of C6H6. Clear? Is it clear to you? Now, if you have any doubt, you can easily, this is just a theoretical value because we assumed it, because there is cyclohexane, there is a breaking of one double bond take place. So if 119, then what about the case of benzene? There is 3 double bond and it will be converted to single bond. So minus 119 multiplied by 3, that is the theoretical value, we have assumed it. So in this case, what will happen? Minus 357 plus 156 is equal to minus delta H formation of C6H6. Now it will give you around, the value is around 200. Clear? Minus 201 is equal to minus delta H formation C6H6. Now this will cancel this one. Clear? Now what will happen? Check it out. This is the theoretical value. Clear? So we have got the theoretical value, that is 201 kilojoule per mole. Now how to, now we have theoretical value, we also have experimental value. Now tell me what is the answer? So now it's very simple. The answer is resonance energy is equal to delta H experimental value minus delta H theoretical value. What is the experimental value given? 49. And what is the theoretical value? 201. After solving, what will happen? It will give 152 kilojoule per mole. Tell me whether it is plus in minus. Sir, the answer is in plus, that is minus 152 kilojoule per mole. Clear? The question is very good question. One thing you have to memorize the formula, that is resonance energy, experimental minus theoretical value. Always in question, that is the experimental value and theoretical value. By using the data, we can easily solve such questions. I am going to rub this part, friend. Wait for a moment. Now, let's move to the next question. Look at, this seems also a big question. The polymerization of ethylene to linear polythene, okay, represented by the reaction where N has large internal value, given that the average enthalpy of bond dissociation of double bond and CC bond at 298 Kelvin plus 590 plus 311 kilojoule per mole, okay, respectively. Calculate the enthalpy of polymerization per mole of ethylene at 298 Kelvin. This is an integer type question. Now look at, here is N mole, ethene gives polythene. How to solve such question? Look at, per mole is given, that is, if I take 1 mole of ethene like this, then what will happen? It will break like this. Clear? This is the representation. Check it out. Am I right? So when 1 mole of double bond break, there is a formation of 2 single bond. Listen carefully. In this reaction, when 1 double bond breaks, there is a formation of 2 single bond. When 1 double bond breaks, there is a formation of 2 single bond. Am I right? So in this case, what is the value of delta H? Tell me. So delta H is equal to summation of bond energy of reactant, this is a general formula, minus summation of bond energy of product. Am I right or wrong? Look at, here is N mole in given per mole. So we are considering per mole. What happened? 2 bond, 1 double bond, this breaks and it rise you the formation of 2 single bond. So what is the given data of bond energy of reactant? According to the question is 590, okay, minus what is the product is 311, that is there is a formation of 2, so 2 multiply 311. Clear to you? So delta H is equal to 590 minus 622 and delta H is equal to minus 32 kilojoule per mole, because in question there is given calculate the enthalpy of polymerization per mole. If there is n mole, then what will happen? We people know if there is 1 mole, 2 mole, 3 mole, 4 mole. So such kind of, this questions looks tough, but it's not so tough. Check out the question. If there is a presence of double bond, then this will break and it will form 2 bond, 1 double bond break, and there is a formation of 2 single bond, and we know delta H is equal to bond energy of reactant minus bond energy of product. If you put the value, you get the answer. So for this question, the answer is minus 32 kilojoule per mole. Clear? Now I'm going to rub this part, friend, and we'll discuss the next one. Now, question number 5. An intimate mixture of ferric oxide, okay, and aluminum is used in solid fuel rocket. Calculate the fuel value per gram. Calculate the fuel value per gram and fuel value per cc of the mixture. Heat of formation and densities are given. Okay. Now, how to solve such question? Look at heat, fuel value per cc and fuel value per gram we have to find. Okay. What is given according to the question? An intimate mixture of ferric oxide, okay, Fe2O3 plus aluminum is used as a solid fuel. It gives you Al2O3 plus Fe. Clear? This is the expression. Now, what is given in this question? In this case, what we have to find the fuel value per gram. Now, what is the value of delta H? That is summation of heat of formation of product minus summation of heat of formation of reactant. This is a standard form. So in this case the value is taken as 0, and in this case the value is taken as 0, heat of formation. So delta H will be equal to product, that is Al2O3 according to the data, that is minus 399, minus what is reactant Fe2O3 minus 199. Clear? So delta H in this case minus 399, friend, that is minus minus plus, that is 199, and delta H will be equal to, that is 200. Clear? 200 kilocalorie per mole. Now in question it is given calculate the fuel value per gram. We have to convert mole into per gram. So what is the mass in this case? Mass of the mixture, tell me. Sir, it's very easy. Now tell me, friend, what is the mass of the mixture? I am asking you. You have to reply. What is the mass of the mixture? Fe2O3. What is the molecular mass? 2 into 56 plus 3 into 16. For aluminum, balance the reaction, that is 2. For aluminum, that is 2 into 27. Clear? Now 112, clear, plus 48 plus 54. Now tell me what is the exact sum. I am moving here, friend. Wait for a moment. Now in this case 112 plus 48, okay, plus 54, that is 8 to 10 for 14, 5 4 9 and 10 1, 5 4 9 and 10 1 11 1 1 2. I hope so. 2 14. Check it out. 8 to 10 14, 5 4 9 1 10 and 1 11 1 1 2 2 1 4. Clear? So this is the value, that is 214 gram. Visible to you? 214 gram. Now so therefore fuel value per gram is equal to 200 upon 214. That will be equal to around 0.93 kilocalorie per gram. Now the next part is fuel value per cc. Here we know volume is equal to density upon mass, and density here is given for Fe2O3 is equal to 5/2 gram per cc, and mass of Fe2O3 is equal to 1112 plus 48. 1112 plus 48 is equal to 160. Clear? 160 plus what is the density of Al is equal to 2.7 divided by what is the mass of Al divided by 54. This is the volume, total volume. If you add this total volume, and now what will happen? Fuel value per cc, that will be equal to fuel 200 upon the sum of this content. Now you will definitely get the answer. Clear to you? If I assume this x, that is fuel value per cc 200 upon x. If you solve this data, then answer will be around, I'm moving here, that is 3.94. So for this the answer is 0.93 and 3.94. Now friend, I'm going to rub this part and we'll discuss the next one. The next one is, wait for a moment. The next question, enthalpy is equal to, this is one of the best question. Enthalpy is equal to, how to solve such question? Check it out. That is, as we know, G is equal to H minus Ts. Clear? And delta G is equal to delta H minus T delta S. Clear? Or we can also write like this, if you rub this, and G is equal to, as we know, H is equal to U plus PV minus Ts. Remember? Now delta G is equal to delta U plus delta PV plus P delta V, we can write like this, minus T delta S and minus delta ST. Clear to you? Delta G, delta U plus delta PV and delta TS. So delta PV can be written like the delta PV plus P delta V minus T delta S and minus delta S, T delta S, wait for a moment, and S delta T. Clear? Now as we know, T delta S is equal to delta U plus delta PV. Remember this? What I am telling friend, as we know, delta U, T delta S is equal to delta U plus P delta V according, clear? P delta V, and at constant pressure, if the pressure is constant, then what will happen? Delta P is equal to 0 because P is constant and we are talking about enthalpy, that is heat content at constant pressure. Now put this value in the given equation, then what will happen friend? In place of delta U plus P delta V, this will first of all will be equal to 0, and what will happen? That is delta G is equal to, moving here, delta U plus P delta V minus T delta S and minus S delta T. Clear to you? This is equal to T delta S. So what will happen? This will cancel each other. So delta G is equal to S delta T. Clear? Now delta G upon delta T is equal to minus S. Am I right or wrong? Sir, you are absolutely right. Now put this value in the given equation. Now what will happen? Check it out. G is equal to H minus T delta S. in delta S, that is delta G upon delta T. Clear? I am moving here, check it out. Now it can be written like this: G is equal to H plus T delta G upon delta T at constant pressure, or minus H is equal to minus G plus T delta Z upon delta T at, this is the symbol. Now divided by T square, H upon T square is equal to minus G upon T square plus 1 upon T delta G upon delta T at P. Clear to you? Now look at, this is some mathematical expression. If we know delta U by V is equal to, how to differentiate? If U by V, if you differentiate like this, G by T, here is not U by V, that is G by T, this is the formula, then you will get the answer. So by using the mathematical technique, we can write like this directly: delta H upon minus H upon T square is equal to delta G upon T divided by delta T. Clear to you? Or it can be here, this is U by V, differentiation of U by V. Now I am moving here, so delta H is equal to, this T will move here, so minus T square divided G by T delta T upon P. What is the, I am moving here friend, what is the answer? That is delta G by T delta T at P. This is the expression. This is one of the best question. If you have any doubt, you can easily approach to me. Check it out. Check this question, that is minus T square G is equal to H minus Ts, H G is equal to U plus PV minus Ts, delta G is equal to delta U plus delta V. I am giving you few seconds to note it down. I think friend you have noted it down. If you have any doubt, you can easily ask to me. Let's move to the next question. What is the next question? Check these things clearly. You will get the answer so much easily. Wait for a moment. Now let's move to the question number 7. This is the question. Look at the efficiency of the reversible cycle in the figure will be. Look at, this is the figure. So if anyone asks you in such kind of thing, what is efficiency? Efficiency is equal to area enclose the circle. Circle means the curve. Area of the closed curve, clear to you, upon area enclosed the curve. Close the curve, multiply by 100. This is area of the closed curve. This is the area. As we know, this is the right angle triangle. What is the area of the right angle triangle? Half base into height. This one is base, so we can write here 1500 minus 1000, and height is 150, 250 minus 150. Clear to you? Now area enclose the curve, that is this area and this area. This area is friend half into 1500 minus 1000 into 250 minus 150 plus, this is the rectangle. What is the rectangle? That is the L into B. This one is L and this one is B. So L into B, that is 1500 minus 1000 multiply 150. Clear to you? And multiply by 100. This is the efficiency, area of the closed curve and upon area enclosed the curve. Area enclosed the curve, total area enclosed the curve. Clear to you? That is closed curve and total area. This is the formula of efficiency. Clear to you? This one upon this total, this one upon this total. Why I am repeating like this? Because this is one of the best question. This upon this. So after solving the expression, what will you find? That is equal to 25%. Clear to you? So I am going to rub this part. Wait for a moment, friend. Now let's move to the question number 8. For an ideal gas of molar mass m, its specific heat capacity is at constant volume. It's very simple. If you use this formula, Cp minus Cv is equal to R and Cp upon Cv is equal to gamma. Do you remember this? And if I put this value, then what will happen? Cp, if I divide by Cp minus Cv by Cp and is equal to R. So the new derivation in this case, that is 1 minus Cv upon Cp is equal to R upon Cp. If I divided by Cp, that is R upon Cp. Clear? Now we people know Cv upon Cp. We can write like this: Cp upon Cv. If we reciprocal this data, we get again the relation, that is Cv is equal to gamma minus 1, and for Cp that is R gamma minus 1. This is very simple. Now the direct relation in this case, I am not going to solve. The simple one is the direct relation in this case. What is? That is, if in case of Cp upon Cv, we find that gamma upon gamma minus 1, clear to you, is equal to Cv upon m. This is the final relation. Clear to you? Or Cv is equal to gamma upon m gamma minus 1. This is the relation. And the answer is this case, that is gamma upon m gamma minus 1. Clear to you? If you know that how to solve, then you can easily solve. Again I am repeating, if you think that I am skipping, no, I am not skipping. This is very easy. Cp minus Cv is equal to R. Clear? We can easily write here Cp upon Cv is equal to gamma. Clear to you? If we put the value, then definitely you will get the relation of Cv and Cp. And finally, if we get gamma upon gamma minus 1 is equal to Cv into m, and Cv is equal to m gamma minus 1. I have derived this relation in my theory lecture also. Clear? If you have any doubt, you can easily approach to me. I am going to rub this part because we have fixed interval of time, so we are not going to elongate this. Now let's move to the next question, question number 9. This is simple theoretical question. As we know, delta H2 upon delta H1 divided by T2 minus T1 is equal to delta Cp. Clear to you? We people know this, that is the effect of temperature on heat of reaction, definitely. And the second one is, it is Cp, that is the Kirchhoff's equation. This is also known as Kirchhoff's equation. For this, that is A has two options, P and R. Similarly, the same is pressure, here is volume. So again, for B has two options, P and R. And for C, delta H fusion upon melting point and delta S fusion. This one we all know, Troughton equation, as I have discussed in my theory lecture. Now D, this is the statement of third law of thermodynamics. So the expression here is C. So option A, P and R, B, P and R, for C that is P, and for D that is S. I am going to rub this part. Wait for a moment. Let's move to the next question. Look at, this is the theoretical part. Qp is equal to H, Qp is equal to Qb plus P delta V, delta H is equal to delta U plus delta Ng. This is a complete theoretical given formula. This is the formula. Now applying this formula, how to solve the passage type question. Look at the enthalpy of fusion of ice is 0.62 kilojoule per mole. Clear? The heat capacity of water is 4.18 joule per gram per degree Celsius. What is the smallest number of ice? That is the number of ice. In this case, what will happen? That is Q. Q is equal to ms delta T upon per mole is given 0.62. This is the formula. Very simple. What is m? There is 500. What is S? Here is given 4.18. Clear to you? And what is the delta T? Is 20. Clear to you? Now divided by 6.02. This is a simple formula. Now one more thing I have to mention here. mass in gram, because here the value is in gram. If here the value is in kg, then you have to convert the gram into kg, and general formula ms delta theta upon 6.02. So after solving, the value is 7. So this is the option. Clear to you? Now I'm going to rub this part and we'll discuss the next one. The next one is the enthalpy change for the reaction, that is given delta H is given minus 92.38 kilojoule. We have to find delta U. Do you remember this question? As we know, delta H is equal to delta U plus delta NGRT. Remember, so delta U is equal to delta H minus delta NGRT. Now tell me, what is the value of delta Ng for the reaction? Sir, very simple, number of moles of product minus number of moles of reactant, that is 2 minus 4 is equal to minus 2. Put this value, delta U is equal to, what is the value of delta H? Minus 92.38 minus delta Ng, that is minus 2. Clear to you? What is the value of R? The value of R is equal to 8.314 divided by 1000 in kilojoule. What is the temperature? That is 298 Kelvin. Visible? That is delta U is equal to minus 92.38 plus 2 into 8.314 divided by 1000 multiplied by 298. If you solve the expression, then definitely you will get the answer. The answer is minus 87.42. Clear? Now, wait for a moment. Now, let's move to the next question. The specific heat of I2 in vapor and solid state are 0.031 and 0.055 calorie per gram. The heat of sublimation is given. Okay, the heat of at 200, heat of sublimation here at 200 degrees Celsius. Okay, repeating the question. The heat of sublimation at 250 degrees Celsius. That is delta H2 we have to find. As we know, delta H2 minus delta H1 upon T2 minus T1 is equal to delta Cp. Clear to you? Now, what is the value of delta Cp? So, it's very simple. The delta Cp is equal to M. What is the value of I2? Mass is 254 and 0.031 minus 0.055. This one is in calorie per gram, convert in kilocalorie per kg per gram 10 to the power minus 3. That delta Cp, if you put this value of delta Cp and delta H1 is given 6.096, put this value, delta H2 minus 6.096. Clear? And what is T2? T2 is 250 and T1 is 200, that is 50 is equal to delta Cp. Now what is delta Cp? 254 multiplied 0.031 minus 0.055 into 10 to the power minus 3. Now it's very easy to find out the value of delta H2. Clear? And by getting, that is the delta H2, it is around 5.8 kilocalorie per mole. Clear to you? I think now you can easily solve such kind of question. So here is the end of today's lecture. Thank you so much. Bye bye.